Micron stock is currently tanking hard. It is down almost 10% today on some news from Google. So in this video, we're going to discuss why MU stock has gone absolutely parabolic, why it's pulling back now, and if this news that's coming out is really going to threaten this stock in the long term. So if you guys are interested in stocks, in ETFs, don't forget to like the video and to subscribe, and let me know in the comments, are we buying Micron on this crazy drop? While this drop looks terrible, down $35 today, 9.88%, the entire month has not been good for Micron. We can see it fell down over 30% from highs just in the last month. If we zoom out a little bit more though, it still looks quite amazing, up 92%. And if we go to the 1 year, it is up 270.35%. Now, if you're not sure what happened, MU makes DRAM, which is a processor used in AI, in computers. Basically, it is part of the bottleneck of these giant AI data centers because it's not the easiest thing to make, and there's just not that much in supply. In certain areas, prices have surged over 170% for their products, and thus MU has been running. Now, what happened today is Google kind of pulled the rug out from everybody, talking about something that they have had in the works, but apparently are making progress on. Now, is it the end of MU? Let's go ahead and take a look at this article by The Motley Fool and find out. I was going to buy some MU stock just last week, and I didn't do it because I was like, well, it's a little bit higher risk than I want. It's still a very expensive stock, even with the bottleneck. And the thing with these companies, once they've peaked like this, once they've gone up so crazy, 400%, any little bit of news can bring them crashing back down. And I don't like to bag hold. So it has been sliding for quite a bit. And this article talks about it specifically with RBC, which is a Canadian bank that has been singing Micron's praises for quite a while now. And they're forecasting a major growth in DRAM prices for Q2 2026 and more growth Q3, Q4, and all the way into 2027. So Micron has responded by ramping up production. They're trying to capture higher prices and turn that into revenue, into profit, as the need and demand remains consistent for their processors, for this DRAM. And so RBC, the bank, does admit there's some demand destruction in smartphones, and they're kind of aiming towards how cyclical these things can be. And so there is a risk there with a cyclicality, which is a very interesting word. Cyclicality getting dampened, and that's kind of what they're saying, is that will save Micron stock from remaining a cyclical stock and could just have it see continued growth. But there's another major factor that they barely touch on in this article, and that is Google. I want to showcase this price too. I mean, this thing was $40 and now it's up over 400 before the pullback today. Google is the outside source here, the outside factor that's going to really impact MU and a number of other companies in the same sector, which I'm going to pull those up on a chart and showcase them in just a moment. So they have a new compression technology that shrinks memory size and increases performance, basically combating what they need from Micron technology. And so even though this is new Google tech, it didn't just come out of nowhere. They've been talking about this. It's a response from Google because they're seeing such high demand for memory and such low supply that they found a solution or are working on finding a solution to the bottleneck so that the high prices don't hinder Google's AI business, Google Gemini, amongst a bunch of other things all wrapped into their AI structure. So this is a major factor. And one thing I will say about MU is I would never want to go up against Google. This doesn't mean that MU stock is going to go to zero. This doesn't mean that they're going to be worthless. What it means is there is more competition because it's a huge factor that Google is doing this. And if Google can do it, guess who else can do it? Almost everybody. Everybody that is using Micron technology, right? But that doesn't mean they will. A lot of them, it won't be cost efficient. It won't be effective for them to do their own way like Google is, create their own tech. So there will always be demand for MU. But this is a really scary thing from Google that really could impact MU in the long run. So let's see how MU and the competitors have been doing in comparison to Google, which is also down today. There is one key takeaway from this video. How is the competition doing? Is this impacting everybody negatively? And from today's outlook, we can kind of decide, yes, it is. The direct competition, SanDisk is down 7%, Western Digital is down 8.6%, and Intel is down 4.5%. When we zoom out a little bit more on the 5-day, we see that Micron is down the worst at 20%. SanDisk is following with 17.4, Western Digital 14, and Intel down 5%. Intel has been holding up a little bit better, even being in the green by 10% in some of these swings. When we really zoom out though, 6-month chart, we see that SanDisk has been outperforming NU quite drastically, with MU up 92% and SanDisk up 410%. Even Western Digital has been outperforming, up 109%, with Intel up 22%, still pretty phenomenal, but lackluster and the worst in the group. You zoom out for the full year, and again, SanDisk is up 1100%. So is MU the stock for you? That's kind of catchy. Now, there's a bunch of different options you can look at, right? MU is still up 270%. Western Digital is up 520%. And especially SanDisk going from up 1,500% to up 1,100%. It has seen a pretty crazy pullback. But the reality is where do you as an investor think this style of industry is going? Do you think it will be completely obsolete by the way that these companies are able to produce their own tech? Do you think that's going to be too long term and that they're just pulled back now, but they will continue to run? A lot of people are trying to capitalize on this and get into some of these stocks that are already up big. And that's not how I invest, but I'm curious what you guys are thinking. Let me know in the comments. Are you buying any of these? Do you hold any of these? If you caught the SanDisk Corporation run, let me know in the comments and how well you are doing, because that is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm very, very happy for you guys. Also, let me know what you guys are looking for, because I want to know if there's any other stocks everyone is sure are going to have some crazy runs like these. I want to be in on them very early. As always, thank you guys for watching. For more deep dives, for more stock analysis, don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out this video on SMCI right now.